Ironic, don't you think? That hey, not another name to say. I don't know the lyrics. Hello there, Trans Mogwai here, and I got another MTG video for you guys today. And today we're gonna feature some banned, not adventures, not Nisa. Shocker, I know. We're gonna be playing a banned enchantments list that is honestly my baby. I've been working on this bad boy for the entire weekend, basically, and I'm very proud of this build. I think, you know, the synergy is really there, and this is like an attempt at a mid-range enchantment value-based build, right? First of all, I'm going to top it off by saying that this is not a tier 1 deck. I have been playing a lot of games with this and have had decent results, but not outstanding by any means. Because the metagame right now, like, I may go on a little bit of a tangent here, right? But you can always skip this and go directly to the gameplay if that's what you wish. But sometimes, you know, I feel like I want to speak out and kind of like share my thoughts with you guys regarding the state of Magic and all that. And I'll try to like be brief about this, right? As much as I'm possible, or I'm capable of being. So yeah, basically, Magic is in a very different state than what it was when I joined back at the end of 2018. I've been playing Magic for much longer than that, but when I actually, you know, started creating content consistently for Magic the Gathering Arena, the state of the game was very different than what it is now. We know now why this happened. It's the developers' decision. They wanted to make, I quote, Magic more dynamic, exciting, and have cards become really powerful when combined together in the right way. They wanted Standard to be, like I said, kind of like a bit like Modern in a way, you know, like that was their intention. That's why we've seen a big rise in power level. Some pro players, you know, talk about the current state of Magic being so different than the way Standard is right now, and they blame the London Mulligan. And to a certain extent, they may. It's important to be open-minded about this, even though I'm very against taking away the London Mulligan. I see their arguments, and I understand where they're coming from, and I think there is some, at the very least, some truth to what they're saying. But I also think it's just basically the result of higher power level in cards and their new philosophy. What I mean by the difference in state of Magic the Gathering is that before, in the Guilds of Ravnica days, and even with Ravnica Allegiance, even though that's when things started to slowly change, mid-range decks were actually top of the food chain. They were really strong. There was the Golgari mid-range deck that later evolved into Sultai with the introduction of Hydroid Crassus, which was basically a deck that was kind of like the jack of all trades. It didn't really specialize in anything, but it just had, you know, good, valuable early game creatures, a bomb in 5-mana Vivian, and then recursive value cards such as Fine Finality, good removal, and they could just do a little bit of everything. And basically, with the help of the sideboard, adapt this strategy to go a little bit faster for aggro decks, or to be more centered around value when facing slower control decks. And the metagame revolved around this mid-range king with some aggro and control, and they just kind of like all coexisted, right? Some could say that mid-range or that specific archetype was a bit too strong, but I think tournaments proved otherwise as time passed. Regardless, this was a very different state of Magic. This was a Magic in which people, the game was in a way like more chaotic. Your draws. Like, the good thing about this Golgari mid-range deck is that it didn't need specific cards to go together. It just had good value cards. So it was more about, you know, being able to have its strength lied in its ability to actually be efficient regardless of the opening hands that you got, as long as you were able to curve out and not get super flooded. This has changed. In the current version of Standard, decks are, I wouldn't say highly synergistic. Maybe they are. There's some play patterns that are very, or they may come off really repetitive. Decks are very powerful, much more so than they were before. I remember thinking about Fine Finality and how strong that card was, and now that card barely sees any play at all. Like, the same goes for the 5-mana Vivian from Dominaria, which just kind of like fell out of grace because Nisa happened, right? And now we have decks that just, a lot of the way these archetypes play out, I don't recognize them as much anymore. What I mean by this is I see aggro right now, and aggro is basically Embercleave, the movie. Like, if you're not playing Embercleave, you're not playing a good aggro deck. You want to have Embercleave so you can just kind of like cheat the game a little bit and kill your opponent on turn 4. Like if you have, you know, the 1-drop into the 2-drop into the Regisaur, then you can Embercleave on turn 4 and then you kill him. And it's basically that. That's like, and because of the London Mulligan, it does help these sorts of strategies that are centered around specific cards to happen more consistently, right? That's where the argument against the London Mulligan comes from, right? So things have changed. We have very, very, very powerful late game decks that you know, just become absolutely ridiculous the longer the match goes. Nissa and Hydrate Crassus is something that I am personally very tired of. You could look at this deck and you could think, well, why didn't you could build it with Nissa and Hydrate Crassus? Yes, I could, but I would honestly rather just like I was gonna say something like really obscene, just like basically I would rather chop my balls off than just play more Nissa. I'm kind of very, very, very tired of Nissa, right? And I feel like it's very hard nowadays to innovate and find one of these like jack of all trades sort of strategies and have it have any sort of success in the current standard environment. This is not me like, you know, I don't want to come off like I'm whining about it or anything, but it's important to criticize things. And, you know, I love Magic the Gathering, right? I've been playing this game for a very long time. And I also even like it from a competitive standpoint, but it is true that, you know, it's just standard is very different from what it was. And the philosophy that I took towards building this deck, ultimately I found out that it may be a bit outdated. So I have to like look back and be like, okay, can I build competitive decks that don't revolve around, you know, the Embercleaves and the Nissas? Yeah, there are probably ways to do so, but I'm not super in love with a lot of the top tier play patterns. I like the food deck, honestly, because it's an engine deck and it's very difficult to pilot and all that, and that still remains like my favorite competitive deck, honestly, at this point. But the other styles I don't like so much, and I'm not a big fan of Azorius Control. It's just a huge pile of counter spells, card draw, and now they got Dream Trawler, which is a really strong card. I like this card a lot. It's a legitimate win condition that the likes of Azorius and Esper Control severely lacked, and I think those archetypes can definitely flourish. And yeah, having you know, gone on enough of a tangent here, expressing my thoughts, let me know, what do you guys think? Do you share? Do you get where I'm coming from? Do you understand what I'm talking about? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let me know. I just kind of felt like I guess opening up a little bit with you guys, because you know, these past few days, I'm not gonna lie, like laddering has been a bit of a frustrating experience for me, because I'm trying to be edgy and original and trying to do different things, and it's hard to, sometimes it's very punishing to try to take on those sorts of like decks, and I'm not the kind of guy who can just stream Nissa every day. I can't do that. I'm not Croakies. Shots fired. Anyways, this is my banned enchantment deck, and the idea is, it's pretty cool. Like, I wanted to build a deck around Enigmatic Incarnation. I like this card a lot. I love the design of it. It's super to play with. And this deck has a lot of very neat things going on, right? The idea is to build around Cetacean Champion, a card that benefits from a high enchantment build. And this deck has a shitload of enchantments, but also some toolbox components incorporated to it, because this is like the enchantment version of Neoform in a way, right? So the idea is that I have a series of 3 drops, mainly Cetacean Champion, but also Deputy Detention and Knight of Autumn, because I'm using Enigmatic Incarnation to sacrifice Omen of the Sea, Cetacean Training, potentially Wolf Willow Haven, and even Medomai's Prophecy before we reach the 4th chapter, so that, or at the end of the 3rd chapter, so that I search one of these units out of it. If I need to destroy an enchantment or an artifact, I get out Knight of Autumn. If I need to deal with a threatening board state, I bring in Fun Police here. If not, I just drop in my engine. This is where the magic happens. If I have Cetacean Champion on the board, every time I put an enchantment, I will draw a card and she will grow even thicker. So we have the likes of, I said corngasm in yesterday's video. It's actually glutengasm. This is wheat, not corn. I'm an idiot. I'm stupid as hell. And, you know, we have to correct that. Hashtag glutengasm, please. I am gluten intolerant, so I am a little bit offended at this guy really just being an absolute ecstasy in a field of wheat and pasta, but, you know, I gotta live with it. I gotta live with it. Some people can be happy with things you can't have yourself, so I really miss bread. So yeah, I have Destiny Spinner as a 2-drop here. I like it quite a bit because even though I was playing around with Starfield Mystic as well, maybe some of the games that you see today are different in that sense. I like her because I can also sacrifice Incarnation in a pinch for, you know, Glutengasm here, and I can fish for a creature that is actually also an enchantment, which will trigger Citizen Champion and draw me more cards. And then we have stuff like Elspeth Conquers Death, which I love. This card is so strong, and in this deck, not only can it help us resurrect one of our creatures right here of the early curve, it can also help us alongside Enigmatic Incarnation. We can sack it, and we can fish for you-know-who, Dream Trawler, which is another alternate win condition in this deck. We also have a one-off of Cavalier of Dawn, because if I draw too many Enigmatic Incarnations, I can use one to sacrifice the other, and I can search for Cavalier of Dawn, which can be really good with this deck for obvious reasons. Enchantment synergy right there. That's the deck list. When it comes to the sideboard, we have 2 pacifisms for mainly aggro decks with Rotten Regisaur, because if you slap this on a Rotten Regisaur, they still are discarding cards, but they can't attack or block with it. And it synergizes well with our deck because it's an enchantment, so it helps us draw a card with its Dezen. We have 2 extra Destiny Spinners for the flash decks, 2 Warbriar Blessings for the aggro matchups, Mystical Dispute, 2 extra Knight of Autumns, 2 Ashiok Erasure, which is something that I'm still testing, I'm still not completely sold on, and Time Wipe for aggro, because aggro can be pretty brutal at first, so having board wipes is very important for a best of 3 series with this deck. Weaknesses and reasons why I think this won't be tier 1. First of all, we don't have a way to deal with opposing Dream Trawlers. So if we face nowadays, like control decks from now, and they're playing this thing, once they drop it on the board, we actually have no way to kill it. So this thing actually demands some specific deck building, and that's something that we're not prepared for. We also struggle against like really fast-paced matchups. Like a good draw from an aggro deck can be too powerful for us to keep up with, because we are a slower build that, you know, once it gets going, but it can be vulnerable. Nonetheless, this is a very fun deck. I put a lot of thought into it. Like every card here has a reasoning behind it. The synergy is really thought out, and when it works, it's absolutely beautiful. So that is basically gonna end my speech here. Today's deck tech was much longer than usual, but I felt like going on that tangent. Yeah, it's nice. Sometimes, you know, I kind of want to talk a little bit. And like I said, you can skip to the gameplay anyway. So thank you guys for watching. If you endured this whole deck tech, you know, it was half deck tech, half ramble. Yeah, thanks for watching. That's all I got to say. Have a solid day. Hope you enjoy the games. I'll see you tomorrow. Double Elspeth Conquers Death with no source of white mana is a little bit concerning, but it is a 3-lander with champion. So I'm gonna keep it. Definitely should have mulliganed that third game. You don't keep a hand with 2. Yeah, it was not a good hand. It was a bad hand, especially considering a lot of my 3-drops that I want to be fishing with those cards. Like it was a terrible hand to keep. Like I can't justify that decision. Mogwai, do you remember the Boar God deck? Of course I do. I'm gonna use this to ramp, even though, like I said, I'm lacking white mana. There it is. Is that Anissa? That's a lot of mana dorks that he sent to the graveyard. That means his draws are gonna be better. Double protection is nice. Next turn, I do 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have the ability to play conquers death onto the Cavalier. And I'm not gonna block. And still have, you know, Gluten Man here to protect Champion. From something like a Claim the Firstborn. Now I can block the Cavalier. I don't know why he wouldn't do the Cavalier of Thorns. He gets the double effect. What the fuck was that? What was that, actually? With these aspects, I can actually recycle these. Okay, that's good. I actually like seeing that sort of play. I just want to keep that down in case I draw into that. Beautiful. I love Elspeth just completely neutering this Nisa. 7 mana Nisa. Fucking love it. Oh my god. I could potentially one-shot him here.
The land shall conquer you.
Okay, I'm gonna start things off with this, but tapping correctly. Can we actually kill him here? If we get rid of this, that's 3 mana. We have a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mana. So we can still play this, and this. That's 3 cards, 5 cards, 8 cards. It's 9. 9 plus 7. I think we have enough. Cavalier can block. Oh, he's still dead. Oh, I forgot Cavalier can block. Okay, it's okay. It's okay. That was flawless. I need like the Men in Black thing, like that. That was flawless. I forgot about the Cavalier. Holy shit. Obviously, we should have exiled the Cavalier. It has like 1 more toughness and has the, you know, the ability to enable him to draw whatever he wants to draw. So yeah, he could have just like, if I didn't kill him there, he could have just like claimed the firstborn. Oh my god, dude. Miguel, please, please. Nah, it's all calculated. Definitely want time wipes now that we're on the draw, I think. I don't know about Night of Autumn. I don't think there's anything that we hit with this. Elspeth is really good though. Maybe like this. I'm gonna go with this. Because Elspeth is super solid. And like, we hit so many things. Like, we have all the way from the Risen Reef up to like Nissa, Cavalier, Thassa. But Time Whip is just as important to deal with a built-up board state, right? We need a board wipe. Even though we're working to set up with the board ourselves, I'm gonna go ahead and lead off with the Fabled Passage, actually. Am I? Nah. I'm gonna avoid damage. There we go. We have the Banishing Light, even though he's definitely brought in some anti-enchantment tools. Okay. I guess keeping a board wipe can be important. This can also be a good draw. Let's keep both. Getting rid of Thassa is very key.
Nature's true power. elements. My elemental friend.
Hey! Oh, baby, there we go. Oh, nice. Can you make the YouTube video longer? 40 minutes is too short. At least 3 matches, please. 3 best of 3 series. That's hard to pull off. But I try to keep them like between 40 minutes and 1 hour. I think that's the right time because. All right, we're gonna keep. We have Starfield Mystic in our opener, which is really promising. All right, let's see what he does. There we go. He dropped the land. Good for you. Okay, we're gonna lead off with the Temple Garden tapped. We're not gonna drop Gluten Gasm here because we actually want to preserve him. Then you draw with this. Okay, Starfield. I choose you. This is gonna be tricky to kill. Shit. With this, we can block Linden. The problem is, well, it's what we have to do. We just gotta hope that our opponent doesn't have any more removal in his hand.
I'm proud of all those who stand up to evil.
Ah, shut up, Johnny. I'm proud of all those who stand up for that. You know what you are? Boring.
True friends always stand by your side.
What if I have like a bomb or something? Will he stand by my side then? Right, I need me a deputy of detention. I need me many things, but unfortunately, I think this is where we die. because everything's just too slow. So, all right. So we got snowballed quite a bit. I think pacifism definitely comes into play here. Elspeth is also like it's more important for me to have board wipes. Elspeth is decent, but I'm gonna need time wipes for this one. I'm gonna need time wipes, pacifism, and I believe Knight of Autumn as well. He's definitely playing enchantment-based removal, right? So Knight of Autumn can put in the work. I think we drop an Enigmatic Incantation, we drop an Elspeth, we drop a Dream Trawler, we drop a Cavalier of Dawn, set that's in training. Maybe 2 Knight of Autumn is fine. Let's go with this. I'm gonna keep because we have Omen turn 2, and we have Enigmatic Incantation as well. Even though we already have like some of our 3-drops here, we can always search for the champion with this. I'm gonna lead off with the Breeding Pool, as it does enable the Omen of the Sea. If I do draw like a Plains or something, for example, I don't have to take any extra damage from my Shockland. Because any ounce of damage that I can prevent here is very valuable. All right, there's our board wipe. Very key card here. Arigatou gozaimasu. Fun Police. Since this removal is enchantment based, I can just drop these Knights of Autumn. But ideally I draw into a land here. Oh my god, that was shiny. There we go. Arigatou gozaimasu. Ian MTGA and Cotrell Sculpture, thank you so much. I'm gonna get champion in here.
Let me lead the charge into darkness. Prepare for battle!
I'm gonna use Omen here.
Heliod. I have killed one god. Together, we can exact justice.
Beautiful. Ironic. Don't you think? That hey, not another name to say. I don't know the lyrics. Let's go ahead and what do we kill? Heliod or Elspeth? I'm gonna force a trade here. Attack this. Get you. And call it a turn. Yeah, Gideon is...
You are going to fight. Fight beside me.
Gideon is a good card. Beautiful. I'll just tackle this. Just so he can't, like, recast it. Just to draw cards, basically. I think I'm gonna drop the temple. Just in case I run out of basic lands, because I already have like a lot. Okay. All right, we were in a pretty good position there. Even though we didn't end up using our time wipes, they're definitely more important now. Night of Autumn was good to have as well, but I think we just keep things as they are. So let's go with this. Part of me thinks that maybe we should be playing a third Deputy Detention, at least in the sideboard. I mean, I'm inclined for that, honestly. How do you guys feel? Alright, we keep this.
Achieve peace, we must fight for a better till my pride grows stronger. Our true strength lies in our friendships.
If we could have scried for a time wipe. Maybe that was better. Because we could have attacked with these two. If we... Or... There is. Holy shit. Oops indeed, motherfucker. Get fucking wrecked. You want toxic Mogwai? You'll get toxic Mogwai, you bitch. Get destroyed. Get humiliated. Well done. Where's my lotion?